She did have a fight that y'all will see, and that's going viral. They were fighting because Shanquella did some crazy shit while she was drunk. So he basically told her to, let's fight. I don't want to drag you out of the bed. Chloe didn't want to. And that's how that happened. Unfortunately, she did die because of on the bed. But y'all see something in the video don't mean that happened. They're just trying to cover it up with a broken spine and whatever else they're saying. You all like y'all. I was not fighting in the video. So the person that was fighting in the video is not up here, and she can only speak for herself. So until she gets up here, she can speak on her behalf. We're talking because we were there. There's multiple people there, not just the girl that was fighting. So I'm confused what's the question you're trying to ask. If me and my friend is going through something, we're gonna fight it out. So that's just that. Nobody's gonna jump in. And that's just what happened. After she fell, she was not dead. So what are you talking about?
According to an audio file allegedly made by Winter Donovan, a member of the Cabo Six, she says that as friends, they would opt to solve their differences in a fistfight, and goes on to add that Shanquella had done something terrible to one of her friends, seemingly suggesting the one she caught on. Tape fighting. Donovan also makes it clear that if two friends decide to settle their differences in a fight, no one else is allowed to intercept. And that's why they all sat back while Mrs. Jackson was beating Shanquella. Shanquella went to Mexico on vacation with her friends on October 28th. Within 24 hours of their arrival in San Jose del Cabo's Fundadoras Villa, she passed away. Khalil, Dejanay, and Winter told the victims' parents, Salamandra and Bernard. Their daughter died of alcohol poisoning. The trio visited the parents to return Shanquella's luggage following her passing. The first report indicated that medical professionals arrived at Shanquella's villa only to declare her deceased 15 minutes later, with the cause of death listed as a severe spinal cord injury and a neck injury. However, a second released report claimed that medical personnel found her in a state of drunkenness, but alive and stable. They advised Shanquella's friends to take her to a hospital, which they refused. This is yet another proof of just how wicked the Cabo Six were. It's as if they were all determined to see the young entrepreneur die. It wasn't until a second medical professional arrived on the scene 2 hours later that Shanquella seemingly took a turn for the worst. According to the police report, the hairdresser was having seizures, difficulty breathing, and a decreased pulse. Paramedics arrived 30 minutes later and attempted to revive Shanquella when she went into a state of cardiac arrest, but ultimately failed. She was declared deceased an hour later. Needless to say, the mysterious story has captivated the public's attention. And while everyone agrees that her death was a tragedy, many attempts to use it as a cautionary tale, claiming, "This is why you can't call everyone your friend." However, the friends Shanquella went on vacation with were friends she had known and trusted for a very long time. These weren't people she had just met or strangers. These were people she knew and that her family knew. The group included Khalil Cook, Shanquella's proclaimed best friend of 5 years. He'd spent time with her family, and they cared for him. Another friend was Nazir Wiggins, who was already taken to Instagram to proclaim his innocence. He claims to have taken care of Shanquella when she was sick and was the only one who stayed by her side while she was dying. Not much is known of her friends Malik Dyer, Winter Donovan, and Alyssa Michelle Hayat, other than what we've seen in the surfaced videos. However, the last remaining friend in the group, Dejanay Jackson, is the one the public is most interested in. Dejanay was a friend from college, someone Shanquella had spent time with before the trip. But sadly, it's also believed that she was the one who was seen beating up the social media influencer in the video. Since the video surfaced, the Mexican authorities have issued a warrant for her arrest. But nothing concrete has been done so far. So far, 2 videos have surfaced from the trip. The most infamous one is that of the seemingly one-sided fight between Shanquella and Dejanay. Since then, another one has been discovered in which Shanquella calls for her friends, only for them all to go silent when she enters the room. Our sources still don't know who really tried to help her, although the police report indicates that Winter was the one who tried to call the police for help. But the burning question still stands. Why did these people who knew Shanquella and who knew her family want to hurt her and then try to cover it up? Why did her friends record the fight and then lie, saying she had alcohol poisoning? When the 6 friends arrived back home, her best friend Khalil dropped off her luggage with her mother, Salamandra Robinson. He told her that her daughter had died from alcohol poisoning and appeared kind and regretful. He was over at their house for days, being a kind, caring friend. That was until the first autopsy report came back and indicated that Shanquella had actually been murdered. Salamandra had first been contacted by the friend group when Shanquella started getting sick. Just like any good friends would, they kept her in the loop with constant updates. And while Salamandra knew the group had been fighting, no one could even begin to imagine that her friends would try to cover up something so heinous. However, when the friends got home and their stories didn't add up, Salamandra knew something wasn't right. No one really knows why they were fighting, what caused it to get so violent and physical, or what the motive was behind Shanquella's murder. But from this recent audio, Donovan suggests this was a culture amongst the friends. The problem is that it's something that is hard to believe. It's her word against the world. With the news of Shanquella's death being so convoluted and with no stories lining up, everyone is scrambling to find answers. The public is trying to figure out what happened and why so that nothing like this ever happens again. So far, the general consensus has been that Shanquella simply should have picked better friends. Countless posts have popped up of vloggers and other influencers trying to use this as a tale of why you need to be careful with whom you hang out. But it isn't that easy. It's not as if Shanquella didn't know the people she went to Mexico with. She trusted them, and her family knew and trusted them. Shanquella seemed like the type to do what so many Black Americans are taught to do. Bring your friends with you because when one eats, everyone eats. It's just that these friends seemingly didn't reciprocate that feeling. And saying Shanquella should have been more selective and careful of who she shared her circle with is really just victim. Blaming a girl who lost her life. She loved her community. She loved her friends. Her friends not sharing. That love is not her fault. She thought she was around people she trusted. These were people she had known for years. The blame lies within those who murdered a person they called a friend. They made a choice to hurt her. All Shanquella did was love them. Honestly, from our view, that's not Shanquella's fault. It's the fault of those that hurt her and tried to bury it. In an interview with CB's News, Shanquella's mother, Salamandra Robinson, said that her daughter's 6 friends gave conflicting accounts of the lead up to her death, and therefore she did not believe them. No one told the same story, so I never believed them anyway, she told CBS News. Salamandra said her daughter's body showed obvious signs of trauma and bruising after it was repatriated on November 12. After viewing the footage of the sickening assault on her daughter, Shanquella's mother told CBS News she was perplexed why none of the so-called friends had intervened. She was not fighting nobody back. She didn't even have a chance. Hundreds of online sleuths have now pored over the digital footprints of the Cabo Six, searching for clues as to what led to the assault on Shanquella in Mexico. Some have deleted their social media accounts in response and are not responding to voice messages or email. The Independent could not reach any of the 6 who traveled to Mexico. The FBI has since confirmed in a statement that they are investigating the death, but are refusing to release any further details.